Are you building a business, feeling the stress of all the pressures on you, and hungry to learn from other entrepreneurs? Then you're in the right place. You're listening to But First Principles, where we highlight the principles you need to win both at work and at life. Let's dive in. All right, so I'm really excited to be joined here today by Ryan McCarroll, a young entrepreneur who has been studying at the University of Richmond. You're originally from Northern Ireland, correct?
Yeah.
And currently, you're in near San Francisco in California, just hanging out with some tech bros, just doing some tech stuff, right?
Yeah, living it up, living it up.
Yeah, that's right. And you're the co-founder of AnswerThis.io, which is a platform for PhD students using AI, right?
Yeah, spot on, spot on.
Awesome. Okay, so like we talked about, something that's a little bit new to this show, I'm going to be just ask a couple rapid fire questions right up front, just to get some good, interesting tidbits right up front. So, first thing, you and I talked beforehand. What do you think? What are you most excited to talk about today?
Yeah, mainly excited to share some of the journey. I think for me, the story of coming from a low income background in Northern Ireland and eventually, working the way up to America and now doing startup is something that I'm definitely excited to share. But yeah, also just for me reminiscing, it does always put a smile on my face.
Yeah, no, and I think you got a great story. I'm excited to share it. So, okay, next question.
Yeah.
Um, in your opinion, in your opinion, what's the most controversial opinion you have about business? What's the most controversial thing you think? That's your
Oof.
opinion.
That's a pretty hard quick rapid question. Controversial opinion. I guess like I did this like course. It was really good, and I do think startups should follow it, where you should do customer discovery, do lots of rounds of calls. But um yeah, honestly, most of the advice that we were given as we were starting to grow, we just completely did not listen to, like customer discovery, and I did do think it's a little bit of a waste of time. Essentially, just see if someone can buy, and if someone buys the tool, then you know that it's something that's validated through that. Nothing's gonna tell you like how good a product is, until someone comes to that decision to buy or not.
Yeah, so like surveys and focus groups, like kind of useless
Yeah,
because like it's not
yeah,
until they
all
actually buy
bollocks.
that you really know.
Yeah. All just like, I don't know, behind the paper bollocks that doesn't actually do much in my opinion.
Gotcha. Okay, and I think a lot of people would share that, but that's great. Okay, because that's sort of the prevailing wisdom is do focus or do market research first and that sort of thing. So,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
and then generally, what do you think is the most interesting thing about you?
Most interesting thing about me, I guess, um, I'll always say, but like I grew up from a farming background,
Hmm.
and it's like it's very hidden, in the day-to-day life, especially like in SF or something like or Richmond, but yeah, I've helped a sheep produce new life, so I helped a sheep get have a lamb come out of it when I was like 10 years old or something, and I
Wow, that's
helped
great.
help lamb and sheep and whatnot. So yeah, I guess that. Yeah.
Yeah, most guys working on tech startups have not helped sheep give birth, right?
No, I don't think so. I don't think there's many.
That's
No.
awesome. Okay, and then what do you think is your biggest accomplishment so far? What do you
Um,
think is your biggest accomplishment?
yeah, I guess like 50K MRR we just hit recently. So yeah, I guess that's the biggest accomplishment. I certainly set much more though.
Awesome. So 50K MRR. So just in case anybody's not sure, that's $50,000 a month in recurring revenue, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean that's no joke. I mean, tech startup, that's a great milestone to hit. Um, all right, so and we'll dig more into that, right? And then what would you like to be known for? So this is like one question
Mm,
is what's your accomplishment so far, but like if let's say the end of your life or even in just the next 20 years, what would you like people to know about you? Or know
yeah.
what would you like to be known for? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question. Right now, and I bet like it'll change all the time. right
Yeah.
now, like my sole mission with Answer This is to make research generally faster. So indirectly, solving the problems of the universe or maybe finding a cure to cancer or like some crazy like scientific medical advancement coming through from
Mm.
our tool. I
Mm.
think would like be absolutely fantastic and something that motivates me right now for that.
I love
Ultimately,
that.
as
I
a
love that.
career,
Yeah, I mean, keep going. But like
uh,
that itself is fantastic. So yeah.
ultimately, like as a career, like how I want to be remembered in general, I just want to build and I'm mainly like just become the best marketer I can be
Mm.
and promote products that I generally believe are good for mankind. I never want to market or like gain revenue from a product where it's like this is just a cash grab, a money cow sort of thing. So yeah, definitely scale products that are genuinely useful would be what I would hope my life ends up turning into. But yeah, I mean
Yeah.
everything's up in the air, so we'll see.
Yeah. Well, that's great. I mean, you got it, God willing, you got many years ahead of you, as far as we can tell, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, I think so.
actually, let me start there. So, like, let's shift gears a little bit, get more into the,
Yeah.
storytelling, a little bit about your story. So how old are you right now?
So currently I'm 21, turned 22 soon, but
Yeah.
yeah, still young,
Yeah. It's
fresh
great.
onto the market. So.
Yeah. So that said, like, can you just share a little bit about your story, just kind of in a nutshell, like how you got here, what you're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I was in Northern Ireland for the first 18 years of my life. When I was 16, I found this, it's called Sudden Trust. It's funded by the Fulbright, but it's essentially a program for like low middle income students, in the UK. They get an opportunity to go to the US for university. Went through there, grinded out all of the yeehaw programs that the US do, all the like different ICT and all these exams. And after about a year and a half of like working and trying to make my American academic career work, University of Richmond took me on early
Mm,
decision, and
mm,
since then I've been incredibly grateful to be in the US and to have so many great people around.
mm,
And then yeah, in terms of the startup journey goes. When I was 16 during COVID, I started a coffee company. So we'd sell um, coffee from local coffee roasters on a monthly subscription to like bikers and people who'd normally stop in at a cafe to get rehydrated with some caffeine. And we'd send it right to their door, which was a popular model at the time. And then after that, I was doing Instagram work under a mentor with 100K, 200K, 300K followers. And after that, I met my co-founder. We started our own B2B company. So that went well. We ran it up to 10K MRR, but it's too much time and honestly, pretty soulless to do just because
mm.
of the amount of time it took. But yeah, and then that all led up to that creation of Answer This, and that's sort of yeah, an overview of my last 21 years, honestly.
I mean, that's awesome. So, well, and it's awesome because um, you did a really good job of succinctly, like, kind of just giving us little the episodes of your life so far.
Yeah,
Because sometimes when you ask people what's their life story, you're like, buckle up because we're gonna go for kind of a winding journey. But you did a great job, and
right,
like
yeah.
as I've already said, we talked beforehand, and I do think you have a fantastic story, and I hope we can get into some of those like details a little bit. So, just getting a little bit deeper in a couple of things. One thing I just want to take a moment to, I mean, recognize is like just that expression of gratitude, right?
Mm.
I mean, man, don't lose that, please, don't lose that because it's really good. There's a lot of reasons you could be cynical about, like problems in the system or problems,
Mm,
that you see. And, there's a thousand things we could all complain about. And I think that basic sense like, I'm going to recognize what's good
mm,
ahead of and above, the things that are problematic. Um, and so like to make turn that into a question, like I was very impressed with that when you said that. Like you've been just really happy with the University of Richmond and that experience.
Hmm.
Where do you think you got that attitude? Why do you think you have that attitude? Does it come naturally to you? Is it just like obvious to you, or where's it come from?
Yeah, I guess like even as a child and I guess more than ever I'm just I don't know maybe some say curiosity killed the cat. I say curiosity led me to different countries. I don't know. Like I'm just always curious to see like what more life has to offer, and if something goes wrong, if something doesn't go my way, fine, let it be. But yeah, just like sort of adventurous mindset of just want to go out there and like really just see as much as the world has to offer, and just like not be afraid to run into any opportunities. I think one of the biggest thing that stops a lot of people is like risk taking,
Mm,
or maybe like fear of doing something different,
absolutely.
which I think is like the quickest way to kill growth. Like even like this is such a poor example because like I was younger, but like I remember being in a room with like 300 kids in assembly hall, and they announced like this free potential trip to go to India to like help build a school and to help have this different experience that many people like will never have the opportunity to do in their lives. And I was
Mhm.
the only one in that room who applied. I was like shocked that no one else like would apply to something different. Like it's a small weird thing, but yeah, I just feel like not being scared of change or like being a little scared to get out of the comfort zone is something where it's like a barrier that just needs to be crossed, and after that point it really is hard to look back, I will say.
I think that's fantastic. It's like one of the reasons I was looking forward to recording this podcast is I just think, um, you have a great perspective on things, and again, I like don't lose it, brother. Like just don't,
Yeah.
because it is easy to get jaded, and I hear a lot of complaining, frankly, especially from university students, right?
Hmm.
Do you think part of that, is growing up in poverty, like helped you to just appreciate what you have? I mean, is there any of that, would you say, or?
Yeah, I'd say like yeah, to an extent definitely like you know no matter how hard the days will be going now anyways, for example, like we had a strong push this month to try and get profitable figures, and like in my mind some of the days were like really rough, but it's nothing that I haven't been through before, and like situations could be much worse, and that's okay. We'll deal with whatever situation there is, but yeah, I guess like in those moments, well, it definitely makes me more grateful. Like I definitely think like Flip, I don't know what I did to deserve this sometimes, but I'm like, okay, I'll take it. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, I just think that like regardless, always going to be grateful for what there is. Like if I'm breathing, I'll be grateful. But um, yeah, especially like just being over here and thinking about what I used to eat or do on a regular basis, and how it's different now. That definitely gives a different perspective where it's like, really got to make the most of everything whilst I'm here. Like not many get an opportunity like this, and yeah, just keep it running.
That's fantastic. Um, okay, cool. So let's then talk a little bit about startup. And you mentioned three
Yeah.
things, right? So, you did the coffee thing, which is kind of, I mean, COVID, right? It was home delivery coffee, basically,
Oh yeah.
touchless, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
which I think is, and you were like, what, 18, something like that? 19 maybe?
Yeah, 19, my brother was 22, 23, something like that.
Okay. And that was in university? I mean, or was that when you were at home during the break?
Actually, no, I lied. Yeah, that was when on his home during or during like COVID and all of that.
Yeah.
So I was
Okay.
actually like,
Right.
yeah, I was more 16, 17. My brother's more 20, 21.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I should have done the math, right?
yeah,
Yeah. If you're
yeah,
21
yeah.
now, right? 5 years ago was not. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. Was
That's right. So you're 16. So it was back home in Ireland.
yeah, back home in Ireland.
Yeah. Okay. And right. And then, so that's super cool. How many 16-year-olds decide to do something like that? What do you think like gave you that itch to like start a business during COVID? Why in the world did you? I mean, your brother had an influence in that, it sounds like.
Hmm. Yeah, for that, like just completely, this sounds cool. I really like coffee. Um, my brother really likes coffee, and we want to share some of the best coffee that the local roasters had the offer. So yeah, for us it was definitely out of fun. Um
Hmm.
like I don't know. I just remember spending like the entire night trying to think of the logo, trying to think of the name. And it's just like a little bit exciting where you're like, whoa, I don't know what's going on here. I'm like trying to sell something
Hmm.
to other people you're gonna enjoy. Like what is this? And then yeah, it was till then I actually discovered, marketing is more what I enjoy. Um
Hmm.
I actually do like I love an entrepreneurship, but I don't know, something about that building trust and selling. Maybe I'm weird, but like to that like is really enjoyable to me. Trying to scale and try to find ways to sell to people.
Well, I'll tell you what. So, like in my coaching, I generally work with businesses that are a little bit more mature that have already figured out some of the first challenges in the beginning. As a
Mm,
startup, really like the main challenge is marketing.
yeah.
Product market fit, and the ways you have to create value for customers, but while you're selling, while you're
Mm,
able to sell, right? So you might feel like you're weird because you like marketing so much, but I think it's a phenomenal skill set and something that like every business needs. I mean, you know, frankly, in my own business, what has given me the most headaches and I've struggled with the most, and this is me personally, right? Has been marketing because I love delivering value. I love coaching. I love seeing people's lives transformed, their businesses transformed. But selling that as a service has been kind of a bear, right? So
yeah.
you have something incredibly valuable if you're really interested in, you know, creating that trust and creating that attraction
Mm,
and interest and doing it with integrity. I mean, I think that's a tremendous thing. Um, okay, so you you were kind of the marketer when you're selling coffee with your brother, and that lasted like 2 years or a year or something like that.
yeah, about a year, 2 years, some yeah,
Yeah,
around that. Yeah.
and then you went to college. You went to university, right?
Yeah, then I went to university.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you decide to study at university?
So I'm currently studying mathematical economics, which is a lot fancier than it sounds, in my opinion.
Fair
But
enough.
yeah, I was trying to study Japanese for a minor and computer science as an additional major, but yeah, with doing a startup and trying to do lots of education does not go well together. So there's some young entrepreneur advice. Don't don't take hard classes if
Yeah,
you want to be
yeah,
serious about doing a startup. But yeah.
gotcha. Yeah, well, cool. So, and I mean, I also just think, man, you're way ahead of the game. You're like studying and starting business and all that. But why math? Like, is that just something that comes pretty easily to you, or something? Because, like, if you're interested in marketing, why not take marketing?
Yeah, no, I just love math. Yeah, it just I'd say it comes pretty natural. But yeah, I just really enjoy math. Maybe I don't enjoy math to the point where I want to spend like 5 hours on it a day, which some of these classes, they're trying to get there. Probably don't love math that much, but yeah, I'm definitely a numbers guy. Definitely a numbers guy.
But why not marketing? Why not study marketing?
Oh, yeah, that was a great question. I did do one class in marketing, um, but their marketing's all geared towards, corporate roles where you're not really actually going to be in there in the midst with making the creatives or making the like A to B test that, a big company is ultimately going to use.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, the even the first week I started answer this, I definitely learned more in the semester of my marketing course without a doubt. So yeah, I guess it's great. Like it's absolutely fantastic to take those courses to, get a basic understanding of, you know, type of messaging people want to hear, problem solve, like some of the basics, but beyond that, the rest of it's a little bit too corporate for me.
Okay, I want to just pause there for a second because like I there's so many things I love about that because um I mean it's this podcast is called But First Principles, right?
Mm,
And the idea is if you're going to build solid foundations, understand what works basically. I mean there's more to it than that, right? But that's the idea. Um and so, with guests, I kind of want to extract principles from their experience, right? What are the things that you
mm,
can apply? And for sure, what you're talking about, um, like experience, like finding what works, what actually moves the needle, what actually gets you the conversion rates, like what
mm,
actually yields the metrics, right? Is so much more valuable. That process of trial and error and figuring it out and failures and you know um, is so much more valuable than just theory,
mm.
right? So I mean, even
Yeah.
right now, we're talking about this, and hopefully, people, lots of people will listen to this. That's the idea. And for them, us talking about this will just be theory. But the
Mm,
whole point, I mean, really, I see the point of this podcast is to encourage other entrepreneurs to get out there and try stuff,
mm.
to
Yeah.
realize
Yeah.
that like you fail, you try, you've got to like pivot or adjust or find new ways to do it. And so like what you said, like the first week of answerthis.io, you learn more than your entire semester. I mean, I think that's because like experience is such a great teacher, as long as, and I do think this is really important, as long as you're guided by good principles.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
And that said, like what I mean, I'm getting ahead a little bit because I do want to hear some of the other journey, like some of the other stories, from just how you got to answer this.io. But um when you were, like when you learned in that first week or whatever, what do you think has been made you effective as a marketer so far? I mean, as much as you can claim that you're effective, like what do you think has made it, made it work?
Yeah. Phew. So yeah, that's another good question, which is like, yeah, quite heavy
Yeah.
with answer, but
And don't feel too much
yeah.
pressure, as best you can, like sort of off the
Oh,
cuff,
oh yeah. Absolutely. Well, I think before anything else, the first thing beyond everything, the first thing that I think is correlated between all three business ventures that actually got sales, that a lot didn't, that didn't get mentioned. But the thing across all three of the whether it's a B2B or whether it's a startup was that I had genuine belief in the product I was selling. Like I genuinely thought it was valuable
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it generally like seemed to help people in some way.
yeah, yeah.
So I think, yeah, you can't sell something that you don't um you wouldn't get yourself or you wouldn't, think is actually valuable. Beyond that, you have the skills, copywriting, making creatives, being able to do the basics of selling, all stuff that can be learned probably within like 6 months of like generally sitting down and grinding out a few YouTube videos. But
Yeah,
like
right.
yeah, the biggest thing is just the belief in product. If you don't believe that it's gonna do well for your customer, there's no point in selling it.
Oh, man, dude, I love that. I love that. I love that. Yes. Uh, and even, yeah, I mean, like you talk about taking risks. I mean, the whole reason we take, if I can say it, put it this way, like the reason we sacrifice, the reason we take risks is always for love. Now, don't like, I'm not trying to get
Mm,
too like gooey or something, but like if you really believe you can serve people, if you really believe this is going to make, and have a positive effect in people's lives and really, make a dent in the universe and, even some of the motivations like making a name for yourself, that kind of thing, make you a lot of money, right? Even
mm,
some of those motivations, like that's what keeps us going as entrepreneurs when it does get hard, when there are failures, when you lose money, temporarily or whatever, like um story I tell all the time is my dad went bankrupt when I was a kid. He's an entrepreneur, but he rebuilt and now he's very successful.
Mm.
And he would not have rebuilt if he really didn't believe in what he did, what he was doing, what he could offer, right? So that's what you're talking about, right? That's like
Mm.
as a principal, like you're only really going to go through the process and do the hard work if you really believe that you're serving and believe that it's really helpful.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. And like, yeah, even to what you're saying, I mean, how are you going to get through the tough times if you don't even enjoy what you're doing, first of all? Never even mind like believing. Like when things get rough, what's going to keep you going?
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, you hit it spot on. Like you have to enjoy, you have to have a passion for what you're doing. Even if you have to manufacture one to get started, like to go for it, you know. But yeah, no,
Yeah, there's times.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
There's like fake it till you make it. There's something to that, right?
yeah, yeah.
Right.
Works to an extent. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So, okay. All right, let's get back to the story a little bit then. So that's, I mean, all really cool stuff. So you tried the coffee thing, you went to university, you're studying, like Japanese and then math and whatever,
Mm,
but you're doing marketing, and you you met, what was the order of things? I guess you met your eventual co-partner first, and
mm.
then you guys tried some things out. How did that go?
Yeah, so the summer first year, I mean my first year of college was literally just messing about. Nothing serious got done, nothing was achieved.
Okay.
But in the
So
first
you're a
years,
pretty typical college student. Like the first few
yeah,
years was yeah, okay.
yeah, definitely, absolutely.
Okay.
But after that, during the summer, I met Ayush, who is now the founder of Answer and we're now co-founders. But yeah, we met in the first year summer. He had an absolute prodigy like gift for computer science. He could code anything. Extremely skilled with AI models and all that stuff. I could never explain, but um. Yeah, we met during the summer, and then after that, he was doing lots of like entrepreneurship at the time, and I
Hmm.
wanted to learn a little bit. So like we'd sit down very frequently, like at nighttime or during the day. We weren't actually really doing much during the summer. We're just on campus, so we're just like hanging out, going through like all these different, startup 101 courses and seeing how it works. And
Hmm.
yeah, we gave a I really enjoy sales. He enjoys computer science. We made an AI for cold sales calls. Pretty like unrealistic to achieve at the time, but we went for it, and it was our first like taste of okay, like we're recognizing a real problem, a heads on fire problem, which is like 1% of sales or cold calls like actually get through to who you wanted them to get through to, which is like a massive waste of time, and we're trying to solve it. And after we tried that and failed horribly, we became really good friends, and that's when we started doing Deep Point Labs, which was a B2B
Oh,
business for
wait. Let me
helping.
let me let me
Oh
just
yeah,
pause you
yeah,
there.
so yeah,
Okay.
go
So your first, I love
on.
that. I love that. I love that. Like
Yeah.
your first attempt, like you were just like two college kids, like studying startup, entrepreneurship over the summer, right? And so
Uh
you tried solving the problem of sales calls not getting through, like cold calls, right?
yeah, yeah.
And that didn't work out. Like we don't have to get into the details of that, but just didn't work. It was, terrible disaster, whatever. And then you're like, okay, well that's cool. So let's try something else. Like, because like it's kind of addictive, right? Like let's see if we can solve a problem. And Deep Point Labs was your next thing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then okay, and you started to describe it. So tell us more about the Deep Point Labs.
Yeah, absolutely. Deep Point Labs is as a small where it helps small to medium businesses like car dealerships, I guess landscape owners, what you call in America, and
Yeah.
yeah, essentially we would help these small businesses, make their website or increase their digital marketing online.
Okay.
And yeah, from there we worked with several businesses, helped design their websites, newsletters, Instagrams, Facebook, and we were doing this for roughly like 500, and then we heard that like if you sell to the single digit like 537. Though apparently that makes it easier. We believed it, so all our pricing was like super weird when we did
Right.
proposals. But
Yeah, sure.
um yeah, we weren't selling about that much. but yeah, it was taking up a lot of time. It was good work and really enjoyable, but yeah, we were doing that for about a year, but yeah, we did have to pivot because of the amount of time that was taking, and um, yeah, this would have been like full time, just like pretty much the same as a job, except it has the feeling of a bit being free, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, being like you being the owner, actually, and we could have a whole conversation, especially some of the older, business owners I've worked with and work with,
Mm,
and then some of the guests here on the podcast. Um, that's incredibly important, like what you just said about a, a time-consuming, business that you run, you own it. So there's a certain, satisfaction also, like again, like making a dent in the world, the purpose, like doing what you really love, right?
mm,
But there are ways to systematize and ways to make it so that doesn't have to be so hard, right? Or it doesn't have to be so
yeah.
time consuming at least, right? There are ways to do it, but but there's only so far you can go with the business model that you have, how you create value, right?
Mm.
There's only so much you can cut back depending on your business model. So I guess you guys decide you're going to change your business model to SaaS, software as a service, which is very scalable. You don't have to be, it's not as labor intensive. I mean, the beginning, it's very labor intensive, right?
Mm.
Is that correct? So you guys moved from more of a service-based business to more of a software-based business?
Yeah, so during that summer, actually, the last idea discussed was Answer This, which was like the AI research tool idea. I just went out to a startup event in Portugal and came up with it. So he was actually working on the back end. Like in the background, I was like giving like few pieces of advice, like every now and again. I was like, "Oh, this could look like this," but ultimately, like he built out the entirety of Answer This. And yeah, when Deep Point Labs was like running slow, that's when this is the right time to start going into Answer This, which was failing at the
Uh,
time. We were doing like probably $500 in revenue, $700 in costs. Like it was
yeah,
looking like
right.
a burning ship at that point, but yeah, we decided to take the risk and pivot.
Awesome. Okay. Well, just before we go to that pivot, right, and what you're currently doing, answer this.io. Um, Deep Point Labs, just so I get it right. So basically, you were doing marketing for small businesses. Is that correct?
Yeah, pretty much. Just going in there, pretty much acting as a personal marketer and tech people. So,
Yeah,
they get the whole website and then also the marketing piece as well.
got it. And your partner, what is his name again? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Oh, it's Ayush.
Aish, right?
Yeah.
And which country is he from?
India.
Yeah, and you guys met through the international program at University of Richmond.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Just because
absolutely.
we didn't really cover that, like when like chronologically, so I just want to make sure that was clear. And when you were doing Deep Point Labs, what is it? He was doing more of the tech stuff, and you were doing more of the sales.
Yeah, so he's doing all the website side. We were both like learning sales as we were going, so both of us really didn't have a clue of what we were doing. It was one of those
Yeah.
situations where like you're telling the person, "Oh yeah, let me get back to my technical team, and then we can talk about it more." And then, but really, that technical team is just you, and then you're going back to yourself in order to fulfill it. So yeah, it was just us.
That's great. I mean, there's sometimes there is a fine line. You never want to be deceptive, but you also want
Right,
to
right.
you want to give confidence to your clients. And like, yeah, I do know what I'm doing. I need a little bit of time to figure it out. So like,
Yeah,
we'll
absolutely.
figure it out for you, I promise. Right.
Yeah, there's a whole different like moral battle of like what you could say on call.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, like you want to seem as qualified as possible, but also like your qualifications. I'm assuming I'm decent at this. I'm assuming, but yeah.
Yeah. Big
Oh man.
assumptions, right? Very cool. Okay. So actually, this time has flown by, and I can't believe we're already like past the half hour mark. So, um, the okay, answer this.io at first, and this is great because you got Deep Point Labs running. You have this idea while you're at this thing in Portugal, right?
Mm.
And it solves a problem for PhD students with research. Um, and so you guys, said, well, why don't we try it? And it was failing, but then you decided to pivot and go all in on answer this. right?
Yeah.
And so two things I'm really curious about, and you can answer this however you would like to. How does it like what does it do? What does answer
Mm.
this do? And then also, how did you make it profitable?
Yeah, it's a great question. Answer This is currently an AI tool for researchers to help them go from the ideation stage of their research. So, what do I want to do on? Do I want to do it like, you know, is there a specific field inside of biology or neuroscience which I want to explore? To essentially making an entire research paper about, that topic that you chose. And I can go into the ins and outs, but PhD research is quite a field in itself, which would take a while to explain. But I started this also recently. We're more gearing towards just like knowledge transfer in general. So
Hmm.
for any question that you may have, for a lot of like what the deep research tools are trying to do, you can get an accurate answer backed by, line by line citations, whether that be of a website source or a paper source in order to get the most accurate, reliable information for a given question. Um, for PhD students, that looks like a literature review with line by line citations, which then they can go in, edit it, if way they need, and for the general public, that just be to get the exact answers, whilst being confident that they didn't hallucinate, because you can see exactly where the information came from.
Yeah.
Um, and sorry, your other question was about why we pivoted.
Well, no, no, no. Sorry, yeah, sorry. I
Ah,
thrown a lot at you. No, what does it do? And so basically, it gives you PhD level like research answers um, with the citations,
yeah,
right?
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and yeah, in a basic way, explaining it in a basic way. Um, and why is that different from like ChatGPT's deep research tool?
Oh yeah, no, that's great. So ChatGPT, I mean, we all notice that it hallucinates sometimes, and its answers aren't fully written out like in an academic way. So,
Yeah,
with Answer This, for example, I mean, there's about 10 different ways we differentiate just because we have tools like citation maps, research gap finder, diagrams, where you can make you can find different papers based on their connection to other papers, which
Hmm.
is incredibly helpful for PhD students,
Yeah,
which GPT is just never going to offer. But
got it.
the
Okay.
tool itself, the literature review tool, and the answer this tool itself, our differentiation comes in that although it does take a little bit longer, it takes like maybe a minute to load in an answer. PhD researchers and researchers actually really appreciate it because in that extra minute, we're finding like 45 different citations, 45 sources to then make a literature review out of. So it's incredibly comprehensive and it's incredibly accurate due
Hmm.
to the information coming directly from the papers. And it's essentially complete literature review, which is highly trustworthy with the papers and sources, all their information on the side for use. So it's a lot more comprehensive, accurate. Does take a little bit slower in terms of response time, but yeah, that's what I say is the main difference, anyways.
Well, I mean, like 1 minute, because I did just a little bit of like PhD level research, myself. And
Mm.
1 minute is nothing compared to going to a library and
Oh yeah,
going through. Yeah, I mean, like, right? So
yeah,
yeah, how can
yeah.
we complain about that, right? It's a little slower, right? In terms of seconds. So okay, and actually, we really, man, I want to keep going. There's a couple of things. Let me just ask you really quickly, how is it that you went from being, in the red to now making it profitable? What enabled you to make it profitable?
Hmm. That's a great question. And yeah, we went from just about in profit, probably break even, $800 in September to 10K MRR just the next month. And that entire growth spurt simply came from an influencer who I reached out to like months and months prior. I never heard a word back from him. I really wanted to get in touch with him. And that was at a point where we're just trying everything.
Hmm.
But out of absolutely nowhere, one day we wake up and the email inbox is flooded with like new pro subscriptions. We're like, what is going on? Is there like an error that's causing this? Like, what is this? And then eventually we see everyone's coming from YouTube. We're like, okay, great. And Andy Stapleton, who's like the biggest influencer in this like research space, essentially um made a video and answered this and blew up the tool. And since then, our go-to-market strategy has just been, find influencers inside the research space, sponsor them for a video, make sure they're highly relevant, and their audience actually needs this tool. And after that's all clarified, we'll sponsor them. And through this strategy, we're able to further 5x.
Very cool. So yeah, again, we could go into a lot more detail about that, but
Yeah.
basically getting your marketing strategy in line with what's going to work with your audience and what like what's working for you is
Yeah.
basically the thing. It's influencers within that space.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Okay, one last question before we wrap up, and that's
Yeah.
um, the just what's been the hardest moment so far that you have had to really believe in yourself and believe in what you're doing, and what got you through it?
Yeah. Oh, this time last year, um, we were down in North Carolina. We were doing a startup acceleration program called Riot, and
Hmm.
we were still running the B2B business whilst also, having answered this, sitting there.
Hmm.
Um, and during that time, our B2B was like falling apart a little bit. We were spending like I was spending probably like 80% of my time on that, 20% of my time on answer this. And it was relentless. Like it was 3 hours sleeps per night,
Wow.
waking up like stressed to the bone, about like how we're losing out on money. Like all the Deep Point Lab money is going into answer this to,
Mm.
just keep it running. We're barely able like to keep ourselves afloat, pay rent, eat food. Like the
Yeah.
it generally looks like we're gonna have to fall back and do the typical college route again, and that's fine. And like it was rough in that regard, and the push through that was honestly probably being young and being stupid and just deciding like, you know what, let's just go all in, shoot for this now. Really saved us there. Um, if we didn't go all in or if we didn't believe in ourselves, as core as it sounds, that would have been us. It would have been over if we didn't, truly go there and dig deep. And also for us as co-founders, it's really good to go through that experience. Just because now I have trust that like when things are like extremely bad, he's not gonna like dip out and take an easy way out. And he
Hmm.
knows neither am I. And that shared experience is like fuel to keep going, like when things do get bad. So,
Yeah.
there's two sides to the coin. And after was it after a thunderstorm, there's a rainbow or something? I don't know. There's some sort of saying for
Yeah.
that,
There's
but
lots of cliches about
yeah,
it. Yeah. But
yeah,
it's true. I mean, that's so good. It's so good for so many reasons. That's cool.
yeah.
Um, Cool. Okay. Well, good. Well, and I actually have to jump on to another meeting, so like I
Oh
actually have to
yeah,
wrap the podcast, which I
nah,
usually don't
same.
do. Like this. I usually have a little bit more time between. But um, where can people find you, and who would you like to connect with?
Yeah, so you can find me at Ryan at answerthis.io if you want to contact me. That's my email.
Hmm.
And then if you want to get me on LinkedIn, it's just also Ryan McCarroll. If you've been in Ryan McCarroll and then add answer this at the end, you'll probably have a better um better chances of finding me on there. And
Gotcha.
yeah, same across
Ryan
all social
McCarroll at
platforms.
Answer This, right? Ryan McCarroll at Answer This.
Just Ryan answer this.
Oh yeah, sorry,
So
sorry for your email,
RYAN,
right? Ryan
yeah.
at answerthis.io. Right, yeah,
Yeah,
for your
yeah,
email.
spot
But
on.
then on LinkedIn, just search answerthis.io.
Yeah, that or just Ryan McCarroll. Either
Yeah,
way,
yeah,
you'll find your way to me.
cool. Okay, great. Well, I really enjoyed this, Ryan, and keep doing what you're doing.
Likewise.
I
Yeah,
look forward to keeping in touch and hearing about your journey because it's very cool. So thanks a lot.
yeah, absolutely. It's a pleasure being on, and yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. And yeah, this was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, cool. Well, you're doing a great job. So thanks.
Alrighty, perfect.